Okay, we're back to talk about more classic Super Nintendo underrated gems. I have Riff from, possibly one of the greatest channels on YouTube, Pixel Game Squad. You guys go over there, subscribe to the channel. If you guys haven't yet, phenomenal game hunting and a wealth of video game knowledge. If you guys are into just feeling smart about video games, go follow this guy over here. So
it's fun. It's a good time. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it. I'm excited.
Okay, so last time we looked at a couple games. I encourage you to go watch that episode. We took a look at Axelay and we took a look at Sparkster. 2 Konami games. Guess what? We're going to start with another Konami game, this time from me, baby. Let's see it. This is one of my favorite, like when you want to talk about total licensed games of getting it right, this is it. And Konami, here we go, baby. When you hear that, you know you're going to get quality. And when you see the eyes pop up and the sound hit, The Adventures of Batman and Robin. Have you played this game before?
Yes, and that is just that sound. I know that's the animated series and everything, but that just it just makes you feel like, let's freaking go. I don't care if it's a game or the show. This just does so much for me.
Right. So I did not. Here's the beautiful thing about this. I did not watch the cartoon. I did not watch the animated series. But I still loved this game. And when people talk about hardest games on the Super Nintendo, this is one of them, okay? It gets into the story very quickly, and I love this music. Last episode we talked about going on an adventure. This music to me says you're about to go fight some son of a guns, man. Just listen to this bad boy. It's devious.
It has I was gonna say it has a cynical tone to it.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's something going on behind the scenes, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. And you got the Joker. He's like, hey, guess what? We're about to come get you. So we get into the game, and you once again, just like Axelay, there's an opportunity for you to select your loadout. And that was mind-blowing back in the day. They were, Call of Duty, in Modern Warfare, you can select your loadout. No, Batman and Robin and Konami were doing it in 1994, kids. Check it out.
There it is.
Look at all that good stuff that you can get. But you go in, and like it looks like
that artwork.
This looks just like the cartoon. Are you kidding me? Like it looks just like the cartoon. It has that noir look. Is that what it's called?
Noir. Yep.
Yeah, and it's so classy and clean. And this is a perfect look for the Super Nintendo. Like I can't imagine this game looking any better than it does. And
I do love that they went with that art style, because Batman, we had the Batman Returns on the Super Nintendo looks completely different. You have Batman games on the NES look completely different. This has that. They went full-fledged with the animated, obviously, with the title. But I feel like not a lot of games, when they try to do that, execute it. And this did.
Yeah, no, it looks great. And this is a game that I've talked a lot about how the N64 era did not age well. And the Super Nintendo aged beautifully. And this is a phenomenal example of this. If this game was made on the N64, I always call it like video game puberty. It was that time where video games, it was like, we want to be 3D and we're kind of adjusting and we're, whatever. But this is perfect in a perfect sense. You see like the roll that he has. When you make, like, listen to the impact when he punches somebody. It just feels strong and meaty. And you got to, like, this is also teaching you how to play. You got a wall jump here.
Wall jump.
You're going to see
a tutorial without calling it a tutorial. Look, climbing on, hanging up, pulling up.
And look what happens.
Hook.
Yes, you got the grappling hook, the whole thing. And the game teaches you to play without beating you over the head with press A to do this and do that. And it's such a simple concept. And as soon as you go through this tutorial level, the game beats the holy hell out of you. Like quickly. Yes.
Bad.
Like, look what happens here. Like this person playing this, by the way, thanks to Nintendo Complete for this gameplay.
Solid.
This person playing knows what they're doing, because anybody who doesn't, they're going to go up there and hit that thing, and these things flying down, they're going to hit you every time, right? And
this is not what my gameplay looks like when I play this game.
Not at all. This is 100% complete, right? Perfect, flawless, right?
For a reason.
But and think about what you're seeing here. This giant boss in the very first level of the game. And it's like a mini boss. And going back
I loved it too. They take something so light, like a little nutcracker guy, and
Mhm.
make it something so like I'm gonna kick your butthole. You know?
Right. And you will get your butthole
Ooh,
kicked,
here we go.
especially here. Do you remember this part?
I do. It's honestly extremely beyond frustrating to me.
Yes, it is.
And I'm actually very, very good at side-scrolling platformers. That's like kind of my jam. But for some reason, this game I never locked down as like being anywhat efficient at it.
Legitimately one of the hardest games on the Super Nintendo. Like,
yeah,
it was super duper hard. There's so many things that are happening. You got to play through this game so many times. This is the quintessential, like, there's the saying NES hard, but like classic era hard, where you got to play through. This was definitely an era where they took care of the source material. That's the thing you hear about all the time. People go, "Oh, the source material, it's not," like, look at what's happening in this. In fighting Poison Ivy, this is level 2. I actually watched the gameplay of this all the way through, and that you fight like every single bad guy in this game.
That's
Everybody.
So
it's
and
crazy.
And that does so much for you as someone who's a fan of what you're actually playing. I'm sure there's people who played it who aren't big Batman fans, but if you are, playing like a Ninja Turtle game or anything of that's a name, you want to see those characters pop in. You want to go, oh, Poison Ivy's in it. Oh, the Riddler's in it too. Oh, Bane's in it. What? You want that. You don't want to go generic bad guy and you're like, oh, they just threw this person in to be a bad guy, like the TMNT game on the NES, where some of their characters you're like, who?
Yeah. Why is the flaming mummy on fire or whatever?
Yeah.
So I never got to this point in the game where Robin was actually in the game. The game is called Adventures of Batman and Robin.
Oh, yeah.
I only play the Batman parts.
For most people, it's Adventures of Batman.
Yeah, exactly. But there's a point where where you obviously fight all the different bad guys, but there's a point where you fight the Riddler later in the game, which I've seen gameplay of. And like I'm just skipping around looking at this, and like the fact that you're fighting all these characters is really cool.
Every time you click forward, you're landing on another known character. Oh, there's Catwoman again. Catwoman's return right there.
What is even happening? Like,
it's
how cool. And I guess there's a time right there. Like I said, I never even got this far. Look at the total diversity in this. We got Two-Face. Let's go.
Just like that. Yeah, I never got this far either. I won't even pretend. I have watched gameplays all the way through because that's what I do when I'm editing. I put backgrounds of gameplay, so I see this stuff. But it's so nice to have that refresher to people. And it's also, hey, I'm not gonna say it. Look at that graphics. Scarecrow. Sorry.
Let's go.
But if you have you have save state ability somewhere in the world, this is the kind of game you might benefit from. Seeing all these different levels,
As I've gotten older, I'll tell you this: in early Screw Attack days, I was really critical of people, using save states, and you're not playing the game for real.
I know.
As I've gotten older and wiser, I feel like I totally understand the purity of things. I get it.
Yes.
But there's also a huge advantage of being able to go through and stop your game and come back and play.
Yeah. And I've had that with a few games in recent history where I'm like, I never got to beat this game.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm just gonna go for it. I pull out the modded classic or something. I'm like, okay, I beat the game, whether you want to say it's justifiable or so, but I at least got to enjoy what the developers did when they were making this.
Right, exactly. And the vast majority of people never saw this fight. And I think that's the craziest thing about it. You look at this.
There it is. Yeah.
Nobody ever got to this point. And it's crazy to think about the percentage of people. You see the percentage of people who went through and they beat like the Call of Duty campaign, and it's a fraction of a percent, right? And then you think about the games that are actually hard, like from this era, and it's, I mean, realistically, I don't know, of the people who bought this game, maybe 1/10%, maybe.
Oh yeah. I mean, imagine games like Battle. Who do you know who hasn't played Battletoads? Everybody's played Battletoads.
Right.
How many people of those people beat Battletoads? I never have, and I played the game 1,000 times.
Right. Well, congratulations. We just beat it. I guess we're doing a boss fight now. Oh no, we did. There it is. We beat it. Congratulations.
Little cutscene.
All right. So there's Batman and Robin. Look, you don't need to play it anymore because you just beat it. Congratulations.
Yeah.
Batman and Robin Konami game. Are we going to have another? Are you going to pick a Konami game here?
No, we're going to do something different. I don't know if I'm going to have as much to say about this game, but I have beat this game before. But it is not only brutally hard, but I'm not going to talk about it I'm really not going to talk about it for the reasons of, if this game hard, is it even that fun? We will jump into that, but that's not why. This game is one of those games when I was a kid It was a rental from a store. It's called Out of This World, also known as Another World in different regions, other consoles, other variants, stuff like that. And I remember playing this at nighttime with my brothers, and we put it in, and this came on screen, and I was like, oh, we kind of have like a Star Wars type animation thing going on. It's a little bit more, I feel like it's a little more story driven. I don't know what it is, or the music, or what it is, but we decided to watch. And normally as kids, I was like, start, go, skip. We were like, hey, let's watch this out. And I don't know if we'll get to it right now, but there's like a cut scene in the beginning where it was a different time to where what I was seeing on the Super Nintendo, I wasn't used to seeing this type of game. I don't know if I would have seen it if I was like more of a PC style gamer, but it had such a unique art style to it. Like this right here, you'll see the time lapse, and you play as this character called Lester Knight. I think you're a physicist, and you pull up in a, look at that.
No,
Ferrari
dude,
just pulled up there.
This is the type of graphics you only saw on the PC. Like
there you go. That's what I'm saying, which I didn't play as a kid. I was not a PC kid.
No.
So seeing this, I remember like quite literally like what?
This is the future.
Like, what am I watching right now?
Right.
And I remember genuinely, there's a scene here, he spills some stuff, and you see a monster. And I've seen monsters in video games, right? I've seen that type of look. But something in my little kid head, first time seeing this style of graphics with this monster that'll show up in a bit, his eyes light up, and the game immediately, if you press start, you go past, you're immediately running from a monster. And you can die like that. And that's the game. And our experience in this was one of those games on the Super Nintendo.
Look at this.
I know. I'm telling you. And it was so funky to me that oh, look at that transition.
I know. Great transition.
He walked in full screen. I didn't even know. Now as a video guy years later, I never noticed that as a kid. It's just one of those games that as soon as I put it in, it did something to me mentally to where I always through my life now love cinematic platformers. This is what this is. It kind of, in the vein of how it plays more in like that style. I always forget the name of like the Prince of Persia style games where it's like step, jump up, pull, step, down. Like it's very like that was so cool to me.
Right.
If you want, you can scroll forward to just like even like the first like little second of the game, and I'll show you kind of what the gameplay, kind of what it looks like and what it feels like.
Wait, that was just the intro?
That's the intro. Oh, check it out. So that was the start. Oh,
No,
back to the intro?
Yeah, we're gonna go back. But just the idea that was just the intro of the game is like, how did all these graphics happen on my screen right now? I don't even understand what's happening.
And that's what happens when you press start. So your first time playing, you're like, wait, what? And all of a sudden, you're dying not to drown. So you jump up. There's these things coming out of the ground, and check out this, like the style of game with look at in the background looming over you. Like you said, storytelling without storytelling. You got to jump over those leeches, by the way, jump over the leeches. If they bite you, you'll know it'll do a cut scene of them slicing you. That as a kid, mess with me, dude.
That's terrifying, man. Yeah, that's terrifying.
And it was just such a unique style and something I wasn't used to as a kid, especially Super Nintendo, right? Hey, I got Mario, I got Donkey Kong, I got Kirby. Yippee! This, I was like, oh shoot, I'm gonna die! Holy crap! I mean, look at this. What do? I guess I'll jump off the ledge and grab onto this branch, and it's gonna fall down and swing me the other way. This is called a cinematic platformer because it's almost like a mini movie. It was the closest I got as a kid to playing a movie.
Right. I mean, you are very much. I mean, even looking at this now, if someone was to release this today, they'd be like, "Whoa, how cool does that look?" It really does legitimately look amazing. And this is 1992, when this came out?
Yeah, 1990. And this came out across everything. I'm not gonna lie, a little cheat Wikipedia sheet right there. And it came out there on everything. I mean, there is just list upon list upon list of consoles and ports and new versions. And to this day, I mean, this is gonna be nothing to anybody, but in a second, this guy, the way they talk, he goes, "Might soba." And to this day, my brothers and I, if my brother called right now, hello, he'd go, "Might soba." Because it became a thing for us because we were so obsessed.
I remember seeing photos of this in like an EGM or a gaming magazine.
Yeah.
And thinking to myself, like, number one, how do they do that? Like, number two, the Super Nintendo has all the bits on it, 16 full bits. Yeah. Number three, like I didn't think that I was worthy of playing a game that looked this cool. And for that, I legitimately never did.
And same. I thought graphics on the Super Nintendo were bright, funny, run, jump, wee sound effects and all this. And then, I mean, look at this. It's just,
oh my God, you're rolling through like an air ducts here?
You're like Die Hard right here. You're John McClane just
Wow.
going through, bro. It was just a unique experience. And it's one of those things where I don't know how well it holds up to other people when they play it, because it is that like Prince of Persia style gameplay. But to me and my brothers, to this day, we can put it on and we smile all the way through it and just feel like we're on adventure again. And it gives you not like as good as like a Super Metroid by any means, but it definitely gives you an atmosphere. And I think that's huge in video games. If you can set an atmosphere, you can set a complete tone. Just with the movie, you play with people's mindset. And this game is kind of like an atmosphere king.
You said something when you first started talking about this game, which the generation of gamer today doesn't truly understand, is the idea that you never heard of this game. You went to a video store, you said, I'll give it a shot, and you tried it, and literally, 30 something years later, you're sitting here talking about this because just by chance you spent some time. You spent $3 probably to rent the game for 2 to 3 days.
Video $1 was the name of the place.
Right. And you have all these amazing memories. And now you got to pay, $60 to play the game. And people are, but you made the most out of your 2 to 3 days you had with this game. And now you have inside jokes with your brother.
And the big reality of it too is this is only capable of happening. Never in history again will this happen, because like you said, you go to the game store and I had zero clue. It was in those clear shells too, where there's like no gameplay on the back. You do not know. There is no trailer that I heard. There was no gameplay on YouTube. Wasn't a thing. It's complete chance. And never again are we going to, if you go to the store and pick up a game, 9 times you're going to know what Mario Odyssey is. You've seen 1,000 trailers pop up on YouTube. You've seen this. Everything is getting spoiled. This is one of those experiences where you put it in and it's a roll of the dice and you're like, whoa, this is what I'm playing. Wow. And again, like you said, that's it. That was the weekend. That's what we got for the weekend, was this game. There was no, Mom, I don't like this game, let me flip on my Xbox Game Pass and go through 900 games. It was, okay, this is hard, but let's try again and again, because this is our weekend. You know what I mean?
Right.
So
look at what's happening here, man. You got lasers flying forward, side to side, foreground, background at the wall. I mean, that is really cool.
Yeah, this is actually the part of the game I was talking about where it gets very difficult. You're basically with one of the guys who shouldn't be with you, so to say, and he is with you. Yeah, look at that, man.
He's like,
this guy, you almost have like a great, look at that.
Oh, that's great.
Oh, I love it. I forgot about that. Oh, see that? Get up here, boy. Oh, jeez.
Oh, that's great. Wow. So that is out of this world. That's on the Super Nintendo. And you said like everywhere else too, right?
Yes, unlike pretty much everything. It's also called Another World, but honestly, I recommend the Super Nintendo version called Out of This World. And I even say play it at night, kind of set a mood, get a little blanket going. It will give you that feel, especially if you're our age generation, where you'll feel like a kid again.
That's great, man. That's awesome.
Yeah, man. It's awesome.
So this is so much fun talking about these games. It's ridiculous. All right, if you guys do like this, if you enjoy our little conversation about these games and sharing our memories, we'd love to hear yours. Head down to the comments and let us know what you think about these games, your personal memories of these games, what video games you rented from the video store that changed your life that you can talk about 30 years later, like we do. So, and of course, go subscribe to Pixel Game Squad over on YouTube. Phenomenal channel for great game hunting, and you learn a crap ton about video games. You'll feel a lot smarter once you're done watching. So appreciate that. And of course, subscribe to the channel because that's good. And go watch more videos because that's even better.
Yeah.